So the Chiefs had a chance to beat the Texans until some questionable coaching decisions swung the entire momentum of the game, and that obviously has many fans upset. However, the blame isn't only on the coaching staff because once again, there were plenty of reasons to go around as to why KC lost yet another game. Well, in today's video, I'll break that situation down as I take a look at what the heck happened, talk about some unfortunate injuries, who else is to blame, and what the heck the Chiefs try and do from here. But first, how about those? All right, so another day, another time to talk about a Chiefs loss as they sadly take their fourth L in the last 5 games. GG's to the Texans, of course. That defense is elite, and we all knew that coming in. It was bound to be an ugly dogfight in the trenches, and I knew it would be a grimy, lower-scoring affair that featured more punts from the Chiefs' offense than we would really be comfortable with. And I'm not going to fully recap this game, but I'm going to look at some of the missed key opportunities and process through the loss and what could be next for this team. It's really hard, I will say off the front here, to sustain the level of success that the Chiefs have had year in and year out. The NFL is not set up to really reward dynasties. That's why that's such a rare term. So the fact that the Chiefs are where they are, it is disappointing. I'm grateful for the years past, but the playoffs, for the first time in a long time, are looking like a long shot. Anyway, I'll get into more about that later. Let's get into this game first because it started out in insane fashion. Part of the reason why I knew it was going to be so difficult, again, was because KC had 3 of their 5 starting linemen injured, and they were going up against the best pass rush duo in all of football. You had Josh Simmons on IR, the left tackle, Trey Smith, he was out with the ankle, and then Jawan Taylor couldn't go either as he's dealing with a triceps injury. So that had Jalen Moore at right tackle for whatever reason, and then Wanye Morris at left, and he was their 3rd string tackle. Well, on the very first play, Wanye hyperextended his knee very badly, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to show a close-up of this one. It was disgusting, and you knew very quickly it was bad. He was ruled out for the game almost instantly, and today, to nobody's surprise, Adam Schefter reported that Wanye suffered a season-ending knee injury, and he's done for the year. Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest said that the ACL is still intact, but there are a lot of other ligaments in that knee, and it's just a brutal way to go out. Wanye was planning to make his first start of the year, and on the very first play of that start, he is now done for the season. Well, that then had their 4th string tackle come in, with that being the undrafted free agent Esa Pole, who was just recently signed to the active roster when Simmons was placed on IR last week. And if you want a bright spot in this game, I got one for you. That's a positive takeaway there. Esa Pole should be the future of the Kansas City Chiefs O-line in some capacity, whether or not it's the right tackle of the future or the very next man up behind Josh Simmons next year. He actually allowed just 1 pressure to Danielle Hunter on 21 pass block reps. So yeah, incredible stuff for the guy who was basically thrown to the wolves with no real practice reps because there was no other option. Anyway, back to the game, because on the opening drive, Noah Gray had a very tough drop on 3rd and 4 to force a punt. This was a theme of the night, by the way. Drops, 6 of them to be exact, and the Chiefs pass catchers once again are up there in the league. They are tied for the 2nd most drops in the NFL, which is just one issue of many for this team. So things went from not great with the Wanye injury to really not great after Trent McDuffie also hyperextended his knee on the Texans' 2nd drive, and he was ruled out for the game. His was not as severe as Wanye's, okay, because he was actually warming up on the sideline, trying to get back out there, but the knee just didn't feel stable enough for him to return, and so he was ruled out. And we'll see how long of an injury that ends up being, but that had Noel Williams filling in for him, and honestly, once the defense started cooking later on, with all due respect to McDuffie because he's a dog, I kind of forgot he was out because the defense was playing that well. Anyway, after McDuffie got injured on that big 46-yard chunk play to Nico Collins, the defense thankfully held up and forced Houston to settle for 3 after some procedural penalties backed them up and actually negated a touchdown. After that field goal, the Chiefs ended up punting again. Shortly after, Mahomes thought there was a free play on this 2nd and 8, though. The defense appeared to jump off sides, and man, Hollywood Brown was wide open flying down the field, but by the time Mahomes moved to him in his progression, loaded up to throw, Mike Caliendo was absolutely torched, and Mahomes couldn't get it to him. Now, Mahomes also thought the defense jumped off sides, so it seemed like he played it safe, protecting himself rather than trying to force it deep to Hollywood and get blown up in the process. but no call there sadly, and that set up a 3rd and 17 and eventually punt number 3. Now the next drive was the Texans' long touchdown drive, but on 2nd and 9 here, Mike Edwards had a chance to make a tough reflex of a play, but to come down with an INT on a batted pass. It was possible, very difficult to make, but another missed opportunity at a takeaway for this defense. And it was the next play that was an incompletion on 3rd down and would have been a Texans punt, but Noel Williams was flagged for defensive holding because Nico Collins slipped and fell over, and that moved the chains, and eventually Nico caught that 53-yard bomb. This man went nuclear in the first half, by the way, with that being where his only real production came from, the first half, but he was definitely a problem to say the least. From there, Houston faced a 3rd and goal that resulted in an easy walk-in touchdown pass to Woody Marks. In real time, I thought Nick Bolton was supposed to blitz, and Noel Williams maybe was responsible for the flat. He followed his guy, and I was like, what the heck happened? But I'm not so sure because it looked like man coverage across the board, and that might very well have been on Nick Bolton, and if so, that is a very costly decision on a veteran of the defense, but either way, it was a touchdown, albeit a very unfortunate one. From there, Mahomes threw his first interception of the game when he tried to force one to Juju on the next drive, and Jalen Petrie somehow batted up the pass and came down with the football. Honestly, a great heads-up play there and a great example of why the Texans' defense is so great. They make the most of their opportunities time and time again. Anyway, after that, CJ Stroud and that offense couldn't capitalize from that takeaway on that turnover, and with another chance at it, the Chiefs' offense finally started moving downfield near the end of the half, but Noah Gray had another tough drop. Mahomes was then sacked a couple plays later, and Harrison Butker, he kicked a 43-yarder and doinked it off the right upright. I just do not understand Harrison Butker this year, man. He's been nails. Absolutely dependable for years. One of the best kickers in the NFL. But this year, he's let the team down in multiple games. Anyway, that led things to halftime after Chris Jones completely shut down the final drive in the second quarter. And that had the Chiefs trailing 10-0. And from there, the defense really started to turn up the heat and find their rhythm. And I'll talk about that. One of the most baffling coach's decision I've ever seen that flipped the momentum of this game on its head, and much more coming up next. But first, most of us live very busy lives, and therefore we're running around all over the place. And for me personally, I don't travel much, rarely ever leave my house, but I am busy trying to make as much content as possible for all of you. Well, that's where the sponsor of today's video, Huel, is here to help. Huel is fast, nutritious, complete fuel designed by nutritionists and backed by dietitians for busy people. I've used Huel's Black Edition for over a year now, which is their low-carb, high-protein powdered meal that just requires some cold water and 2 scoops of powder, but now they have their Black Edition ready to drink, or RTD, which is a full meal in a bottle that's ready to just pull out of the fridge, shake, and then drink. It's so good, too. One more. It's packed with 35 grams of plant-based protein, 400 calories, and all 27 essential vitamins and minerals your body needs to stay fueled and focused. I like their iced coffee a lot, but my favorite is definitely going to be their chocolate peanut butter flavor. It's not only delicious, but filling and perfect for days like today when I have multiple videos that I have to record back to back to back. But wait, there's more. Their newest product, Huel Daily Greens RTD, just released in September, and I've been drinking that since. This is kind of my go-to in between lunch and dinner. Only 25 calories, something to sip on, but it also has 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods packed into this. Apple's my go-to, but they are all pretty good and I highly recommend. And you can find Huel in Target, or if you would like a discount, get Huel's newest product as well as the rest of their products for 15% off with this exclusive offer for new customers only. Use my code HBTC15 at Huel.com/HBTC15. All right, so the second half of this game featured the Chiefs defense essentially shutting down Houston for the next quarter and a half, completely shutting them down. Chris Jones had multiple pressures, a sack, tackle for loss, and a batted up pass at the line of scrimmage. Carl Loftus got a sack and made several plays as well, and Houston had 5 drives that featured 5 punts, and their drives were only averaging 3.4 yards. Not 3.4 yards per play, 3.4 yards per drive. The offense finally got a drive going on their first chance in the second half, and it ended with a Kareem Hunt rushing touchdown out of shotgun on 4th and goal. Honestly, I cannot believe it worked, but Kareem Hunt found a way. I don't think Mahomes even loved the play call, but it didn't matter. Kareem Hunt got it done. One of the best short yardage backs in all of football for a reason. So that's why you do it. And during this span, where the defense was balling out time and time again, Mahomes had another opportunity on this play here where he launched a missile to Tyquan Thornton halfway through the third quarter. That throw was right on the money too, and while Thornton just needed to go ahead and reel it in, Kamari Lassiter is a dog. He gets paid too. He's one of the best corners in football for a reason, and he batted that ball away, made a nice pass breakup, and prevented the touchdown. Some Mahomes scrambles got them into the red zone though, and on 3rd and 2, a great play call via a fake handoff to Kareem and a quick pass to him left side was sadly dropped, and on 4th and 2 at the Texans' 18-yard line, Andy Reid opted to kick a field goal that was barely made by Butker. Remember that one, because while that was a confusing decision, it gets worse here soon. Points are points. I guess you're going to take that, right? But on KC's next drive on offense, Rice got lit up by Jalen Petrie on a huge hit, albeit I think it was a clean hit, and that resulted in a tough drop that I don't really fault Rice for at all. Shortly after that, on 3rd and 6, though, Mahomes took a shot downfield targeting Hollywood Brown, but the pass to me did look underthrown. Kamari Lassiter made a great adjustment on the ball and picked Mahomes off. And despite the defense giving up a 3rd and 17, could not believe that, Houston ended up having to punt again after Jalen Watson blew this 3rd and 2 play all the way up for a tackle for loss. Well, buckle up, because this is where things get really bumpy. A Mahomes scramble on 3rd and 10 got things to 4th and 1, and Andy Reid opted to go for it on their own 31-yard line. Jalen Moore got absolutely torched off the right side, and Andy Reid said the play design was for Hollywood Brown, who last second motioned from the right side to the shotgun kind of right next to Patrick Mahomes and then screamed out to that side. But again, when you're torched off the side that Mahomes was going to be targeting, he had to end up looking elsewhere. And it looked like he was maybe eyeing Juju, hoping he would settle in between that space right there, but it was all bad as he stepped up and tried to just fire one to Rice, who didn't really try to aggressively attack the football. The result, of course, was a turnover on downs that, for the life of me, I will never understand. The momentum was in the Chiefs' favor with the defense teeing off again and again on the Texans' offense. They scored 10 unanswered points, meanwhile, on offense in the second half, the Chiefs did, yet Andy Reid runs a play where Kareem Hunt is not even in the backfield to show the threat of a run. The best short yardage running back in all the football was lined up as a tight end on the left side. We wouldn't be upset if it worked, right? But the thing is, for me, just punt the ball and flip fields because the defense was on an absolute heater. It was a tie game. You had 10 minutes still to go in the fourth quarter. Why press when you're at your own 31-yard line? Andy Reid, he told the media today that he felt like this was a good opportunity to be aggressive, and if he had to do it all over again, he would still go for it there. Quote, "I would probably do that same thing again. I thought the risk reward was right for the time." I will make a note here, had Harrison Butker made that field goal earlier on in the day, I guarantee you they do not go for it there, but it is what it is. You don't execute, you make poor coaching decisions, and it comes back to bite you. And I just disagree with Andy Reid on this one. I'm obviously not the coach, and if it worked, again, we wouldn't be talking about it. But when the defense was playing lights out, I don't get why you risk turning the ball over at your 31-yard line like that. Well, that swung the entire momentum of this game, and that was the spark the Texans needed to get a touchdown because they only had to go 31 yards. Chris Jones couldn't bring Stroud down on 3rd and 3, and he fired a perfect pass to Jaden Higgins' right side. And a few plays later, Dare Agumbawale, he punched it in for the score with 7 minutes to go in this game. It was only a 7-point game, though. Well within reach if the offense could get something going. So there's still a chance, right? But on 3rd and 4, no dice on their next drive because Mahomes, I don't know, he might have had Gray open on the right side, but Gray had been dropping passes, so I'm not sure Mahomes was extremely confident there, but it was too late, and pressure forced an incompletion. So on 4th and 4, here we go again with the game on the line. The Chiefs actually burned a timeout to try to draw up the right play, and it would have worked, but Rashee Rice dropped it. It hit him right in the freaking mitts with Mahomes stepping up into the pocket to make the throw. Just a brutal drop by Rice in a crucial situation. 2 games in a row now. He had one late on 3rd down as well against the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and then that late one on 4th and 4 or whatever it was against the Texans. Still, though, in spite of that, the defense made one last crucial stop, and the offense got the ball back again. They had 3 minutes and 45 seconds left, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning, so plenty of time. Well, Mahomes proceeded to target Kelce on back-to-back plays, and they resulted in back-to-back drops. To be clear, the first one was an easier catch for Kelce to make than the second one. The second one was thrown behind Kelce, and as he turned around to snag it, the ball got batted up into the air and picked off by Azeez Al-Shaair. A tough grab for Kelce to make for sure, but Mahomes said after the game, Kelce's made plays like that many times before. For years, it's been one of his go-to guys, so he's going to keep giving guys that he trusts opportunities in moments like that. He noted he could have put it more on Kelce's body, but that INT was number 3 on the day, and that ultimately put the game on ice because, once again, Houston, they got blessed with a very short field, and they were able to make it a 10-point game with 30 seconds left, and that was all she wrote. Houston got their much-needed W, moving to 8-5, still very much alive in the playoff race, while the Kansas City Chiefs moved to 6-7 on the year, tied with the Ravens and Dolphins record-wise, and are currently the 9th seed in the AFC. And again, good game to the Texans, man. They made plays after plays on defense. The offense, they did step up and make some plays as needed as well, especially taking advantage of the moments where they were blessed with short field opportunities made by their defense and lack of execution by the Chiefs' offense. The reality is, you cannot put up 10 points and expect to win any game in the NFL. It's just not going to happen 9 times out of 10 in 2025. Now, there's no moral victory over here, but I watched the game back, I watched the film, and there were opportunities that were there. Thornton missed a chance at a deep ball touchdown. Great PBU as well, though, by Lassiter. Tip of the cap to him. The defense had a chance to get at least one turnover early, and Mike Edwards couldn't haul it in. Nick Bolton blew that coverage for the Woody Marks walk-in touchdown pass. Rice had that insane drop on 4th down late. Andy Reid decided to go for it from their own 31. That swung the entire momentum of the game. And that is me being a broken record because it's the summary of almost every single Chiefs game this year. Close, but no cigar. This one wasn't a one-score game, but it was definitely within reach for a large part of this game. It's a penalty here, a lack of execution there, nobody getting open on this play 2, 3, or 4, or when they do on this couple of plays, these couple of plays over here, Mahomes either doesn't see it or misses. Then there were 6 total drops on the day, which didn't help the box score watchers on Mahomes' stats. If you actually used your eyeballs to watch the game, you could see that Patrick Mahomes on offense was doing anything he could to will his team to a W, as was Chris Jones on the defensive side of the ball. It's a team game, though, and while I knew it would be tough sledding against that D-line with KC's banged-up O-line, I thought they would find a way, in the end, to get it done with really your season on the line. But the honest truth at this point is, the Chiefs are exactly who their record says they are. 6-7, you can have the stats, you can have the EPA metrics, but they are inconsistent. When the offense is firing, the defense or special teams is not. Well, last night, the defense was firing on all cylinders and the offense was not. Uphill battle against that defense, but it's the culmination of the entire season. A drop by Kelce, a missed throw by Mahomes, Harrison Butker missing a field goal, Andy Reid being outcoached and outclassed in some of these games. It is kind of sad and kind of embarrassing at this point in time, and Mahomes spoke to the media after the game and said they just haven't done enough this year in crucial moments. That's a good football team they just played, but they had chances and they didn't make the most of those opportunities again. And no, 4 for 4 on 3rd down, 1 for 3 on 4th down, losing the turnover battle 3-0, and all those stalled drives and drops. That's not going to get you a W. Mahomes was battling through some sort of a knee tweak he sustained the game prior, yet he made several clutch scrambles happen and once again led this team in rushing. Please, for the love of God, get him a running back next year or we all might riot. The problems with this team, though, it's multifaceted. Offense, defense, and special teams, and a problem that deserves another video or maybe several videos that I'll be making here in the near future. But I do want to give credit again to the defense for the Chiefs. They came alive and gave the offense opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, kind of like the Colts game. And against that great Texans defense, the offense couldn't make the most of their opportunities. A disappointing game to say the least, where the Chiefs now have roughly a 15% chance of making the playoffs. I don't have a bunch of encouraging words here at this point in the video. It was a tough loss and a bitter pill to swallow, as they are most likely not making the playoffs for the first time since 2014. With that being said, though, both Mahomes and Chris Jones said after the game they got 4 more games and they're going to finish strong, giving it their all as they make a final push to hopefully leave the door cracked open for a chance at the playoffs. Well, make sure to let me know your thoughts and main takeaways from this game in the comments down below. Where are you at with it? And what do the Chiefs do next as they prepare to take on the Chargers next week? And then I do want to say this. Believe it or not, but it is still possible for the Chiefs to make the playoffs. So make sure to check out this video here that I did today on how that could play out. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?